A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, it is a period of teenage girls being unashamed of what they love, and one specific teenage girl having to grapple with the challenges of family expectations, generational trauma that manifests partly as the ability to transform into a giant red panda, and getting tickets to the greatest boy band ever. I don't know, sounds like she has her priorities straight to me. From Academy Award winner Domee Shi comes a beautifully personal and messy coming-of-age story that will bring you to tears. Or at least send some grown adults into an impromptu therapy session. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The views expressed therein are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of their employers. Hello there, and welcome back to 6 Degrees of Star Wars, the podcast where we explore all the ways George Lucas's flagship franchise surrounds us, binds us, and penetrates us in the landscape of cinema. I'm your host, Sam Marchioni. Joining me today, River Lane.
As the adopted Torontonian, let me just say, the CN Tower fucks.
Shamila Karanakran.
If I had a nickel every time James Hong appeared in a film about a fraught relationship between a Chinese mother and daughter, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot. It's weird that it's happened twice.
In the same year, too. And my friend Jordan.
Hello, I don't have anything witty about this one.
It's okay, because I still never met nobody.
You can make that your intro.
It's fine. Let's just embrace the cringe. Let us embrace the inner 13-year-old girls that this movie so lovingly embodies.
My inner 13-year-old girl is not different than how I am now. She's just not a girl anymore.
Valid. We are here, my friends, to talk about Domee Shi's 2022 masterpiece, Turning Red, which in any other year absolutely would have won the Best Animated Feature Oscar, but Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, our beloved.
Which is also... No, wait, that's
Degree
a degree too. I keep forgetting Ewan's in it.
Ewan!
Ewan, our beloved.
There's a lot of my beloved in this movie. Like, James Hong, my beloved. Sandra Oh, my beloved.
Oh, she is such a fantastic voice actress. Like, I mostly know her voice work from the Invincible cartoon.
Yeah, she's moving up in that. She did a voice in She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. She also did, I think she's the mom of the evil friend in Raya and the Last Dragon. It's been a while since I watched Raya and the Last Dragon.
Yes, that's her.
And, of course, we are all, I believe, children of the aughts to the degree that we also...
Yes!
Capta.
No, sir.
Mm-hmm.
No information.
The Queen is coming.
Grey's Anatomy,
Icon.
get the fuck out of here.
I think about the Queen is Coming line delivery at least once a month.
Amazing. Hey, Princess Diaries 3, bring her back.
I am throwing metaphorical rocks at Chris Pine's metaphorical window because I can't hit him up on his shitty burner phone.
Oh wait, did we do the degrees? We need to do the degrees.
Well, we kind of mentioned it already. This is a degree 3 because James Hong decided, you know what, it's not enough that I did one movie for 2022 where a Chinese immigrant mother and daughter have a fraught relationship based on generational trauma that needs to be fixed through, like, some magical bullshit. I need to do it twice.
That
How's that
stays
for
busy.
box office? In case anyone listening to this has not seen Turning Red, number one, what the fuck are you doing?
It's not like you weren't busy in 2022.
Yeah, like, oh god. This movie did absolutely get screwed by 2022 being 2022 and Disney being Disney, but there was so much fun stuff going on. Let's shout out to Rosalie Chiang, who voices our lead character, Mei-Lin Lee. She was a scratch voice originally, but she ended up getting the role entirely, and apparently they shipped her all the recording equipment she would need so that she could record her lines in her parents' house.
Aww.
That's
Delightful.
incredible.
12 out of 10.
I feel like that really adds to the vibes of May. Like, that just feels very accurate for May's character.
It is absolutely incredible. So I did make sure to tap 2 Torontonians
Yes.
Yeah.
For
this because this is a very Toronto Toronto core movie.
Yes, they did market to Chinatown, to the Milk and Bags, to the Sky Dome and Tower.
Tim Hortons, my beloved.
The Timbits.
Timbits, my beloved.
Why does your milk come in bags?
Great question.
We don't know. It's always been like that.
Yeah, that's the funny thing, is that, like, Shammy is the native Torontonian. I am adopted. I have been in and out of the city since I was, like, 4. But I moved here permanently during, I moved here during college, and then I moved here permanently after, or uni. But I did watch this movie for the first time in my uni dorm, while I was, like, procrastinating a paper or something.
Yeah, I remember it being in a really weird place, because it was during one of those waves of, you gotta boycott Disney, don't see this, and then somebody else is like, no, we have to prove that representation matters, and that stories that come from cultures outside the dominant white hegemony matter. And it's like...
Quick question, when haven't we been boycotting Disney?
Complicated question, put a pin in it.
Exactly. So, at this point, it's just sort of a perpetual, never-ending cycle, and they are too much of a cultural juggernaut, again, to the Eldritch Abomination that has vaguely Mickey-shaped ears. They're just gonna be there, y'all. Shutting up about them is maybe impossible. I'm putting an asterisk on that maybe, because that conglomerate's getting too damn fucking big, and fuck you, Congress, for letting Paramount Courts decree. And someone should probably take a buster to that, hammer buster to that, but, like, this Congress ain't doing shit about it! Anyway, not to get too political on this here podcast right out of the fucking gate. Usually we save that for second act.
I mean, we know that this movie isn't political at all, because how dare it not talk about 9/11?
Because it was made in 2002!
It's set in
2002.
Whatever! You know what I meant.
If Pixar had the balls to make this in 2002, I would have been, A, way more impressed with them, but B, also shocked that it took them this long, and also not shocked that it took them this long.
Well, we had to get fur right. Remember how long it took them to get hair.
True. But they got hair so right for this movie. Like, I love, beyond just May's giant fluffiness, I love her fluffiness so much. I am Abby going, you're so fluffy!
I am tied Miriam, Priya. I've always wanted a tail. And Miriam's general vibe of, like, nah, man, I'm gonna protect you. And also, my friend's parents kind of hate me.
Also, going back to the hair, like, even her mom, like, the panda still having, the coif.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I sent Shammy a post for the blog of Malin and her mom's panda doing the red panda arms in the air spook.
Oh, I love that. Like, perfect animal to pick too. Like, red pandas are freaking adorable.
They're also very fierce.
Yeah. I have the note in my notes, werewolf period metaphor with cultural relevance.
It's basically a PG ginger snaps.
Which is basically what this movie is.
Oh, God.
You're not wrong.
Wait, Malin is 13, so she'll be in, like, her mid-20s when shifter fic becomes popular.
Yeah. Who's to say she's not already up at fic.net?
Truly.
Did
or
fic.net exist in 02?
Yes. Or on LiveJournal. She could be on LiveJournal.
Oh, God. I mean, we already know that they're bootlegging concerts of, honestly, a fucking amazing pop band. I don't know what Ming's on about. I love the Four Town songs.
Phineas O'Connell really said, injection, ruining all of our lives. Like, here's the thing, is that you said we were doing Turning Red, right? And I was like, yeah, I remember seeing Turning Red once. I thought it was a pretty fun movie. It was a very Toronto core movie, which is why I petitioned to be on this podcast. But, like, after you said it and the lead up to having to watch this movie, I had Nobody Like You stuck in my fucking head. Jordan Fisher, pay my goddamn therapy.
Not to skip ahead too much, but I fucking love the climax scene where the Nobody Like You mixes with the Cantonese chanting. And, like, the underscoring ramps up. Ludwig Göransson popped off.
That man needs another Oscar.
If he doesn't get another one for Sinners, I riot.
If he and the sound editing team do not get one for Sinners, I'm taking the Academy. I'm throwing the Academy into the garbage chute.
Like you don't already.
Okay, we're not here to talk about Sinners. We're not here to talk about Sinners.
Okay, I'm sorry, but so you said Jordan Fisher?
Yes, he's.
I did not realize that he was in this movie. I saw him as Orpheus in Hadestown last year.
Icon,
oh my God, amazing.
Icon behavior, yeah.
And he was also in a Star Wars.
Jordan Fisher, in this movie, he voices Robert, the lead of Four Town, which... What kind of fucking name is Robert?
French Canadian?
French. Yeah, he's probably from Quebec, if we're being completely honest. He is that Quebecois fuckboy we keep talking about.
Uh-huh.
His name is probably actually Robert, isn't it?
Probably, maybe. But yeah, this movie is so very delightfully Canadian. And it is very Toronto coded without being specifically Toronto. Because, yes, Mei Lin probably lives in Kensington Market, but also...
This little kitty side street with all these colorful little shops.
Yeah, it's about 2 blocks big, or 2 blocks long, about a block and a half wide. It's very close-knit. It's a lot of converted houses into, like, a bunch of vintage shops and a bunch of thrift stores. There is a absolutely killer breakfast sandwich place that is my Harley Quinn breakfast sandwich. If you listen to the Birds of Prey episode, that breakfast sandwich is in Kensington Market. I would die for it. There's also an excellent donut shop that does brown butter glazed donuts. I dream about those donuts at least once a month. But, like, that neighborhood exists, and Chinatown exists.
Yeah, we've never called it Chinatown. We always called it Spadina.
Yeah, well, so Chinatown is also part of Dundas. Like, it is basically from University up to Spadina is also Chinatown.
You can just pinpoint the exact location. You could probably find it on Google Maps.
Yeah, probably. Like, when the streetcar says Chinatown, that is one of 2 streetcars. Anyway, shout out to the paper TTC card. Those no longer exist. Because they're really, really trying to move everybody to Presto.
Yeah.
Fun?
It's basically like, you know how every city in the universe has a standardized, like, transit pass?
That's
Presto,
what they're doing, yeah.
Presto is the Toronto, Greater Lower Ontario standardized transit pass, because it also covers the GO trains out into the suburbs as it all. Because remember, kids, Toronto is actually 6 cities in a trench coat. That's why it's called the 6. And if anyone tries to tell you Mississauga is a part of it, they're wrong.
Okay, I should have predicted that this was going to be part of having 2 Torontonians on this.
Yes, this feels like very specific Canadian views that I do not understand.
All of your Canadian listeners will know what I'm talking about, and people from Mississauga will swarm your mentions and tell me I'm wrong. But no, in fact, they are wrong.
Get you on site.
You know what? By all means, I could use the engagement.
Mississauga and Scarborough, it's on site. Anyway.
Half my family are in those two.
And Etobicoke is part of the 6, and it's on site for them as well, but for different reasons. Hot take, I do think Tyler lives in Etobicoke. Because otherwise it makes no fucking sense where he would theoretically live unless he lives out that way and still be going to an in-city school. But
Tyler, I absolutely had a Tyler going to school.
Didn't we all?
We all had a Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, actually thinking about it, no, I didn't have a Tyler at school because I never had a Tyler who broke down his toxic masculinity when it was revealed we actually do love the same boy band.
Not to start the getting a bunch of queer adjacent people into a room and having it turn into therapy. The mommy issues in this here movie.
Yeah.
More flashbacks.
The generational trauma.
I will be the note taker on that effect. I don't have the cultural experience of Ming being like that, TM. I've seen my friends have parents like that. I am Miriam, Abby, Priya, standing outside the streetcar going, she's brainwashed. I have not quite been on the other side of Ming's complete and utter, rant about May trying, accusing her friends of hustling her out. But, I've gotten similar-ish vibes. At my life, TM, I canonically know that I am the friend parents hate, for various reasons, valid and invalid. I come at this movie, and I understand intellectually where Ming is coming from, and I understand for the thematics of the movie where Ming is coming from and what journey we have to go on, but also in the minute to minute, I'm going, Ming, you're fucking insane!
Blasting past every boundary.
God. And just the reveal of why she and her own mother are estranged and what went down with her own panda, you'd think she would have, a little more self-awareness and maybe give a little more grace, because, the inciting incident for this movie is May getting a little bit horny for, the first time and drawing some, honestly, very innocent fan art of a 17-year-old Daisy Mart. Are Daisy Marts a real thing?
No, I think it's your standard
Daisy
generic.
Mart.
Yeah, strange things are afoot at the Circle K, sort of energy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, May has baby's first fangirling self-insert art with Devin from the Daisy Mart, and her mom not only picks up the notebook and looks at it, but then decides that the best course of action is to drag her daughter along to this convenience store and publicly yell at a 17-year-old who has no clue what the fuck is going on about how he essentially molested her child.
And proceeds to show the drawings in the notebook as well.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The parenting actions in this movie were sometimes very, very cringe. And, I get it on a storytelling level, because it's supposed to be exaggerated to get the panda to come out and everything. But at the same time, it's just if this was actually a real thing that happened, then it doesn't matter if you can turn into a fluffy red panda. Nobody is ever going to let you live these things down ever again. Your life is just ruined.
Yeah, they were lucky, May was lucky social media wasn't prominent then, because, oh my god, imagine everything on TikTok.
If it had been on TikTok, they could have made a killing with sponsorships.
Oh, 1,000%. But this does sting of what this movie's this movie has underlying themes about generational trauma and and teenage girl coming of age, but also a thin river that may be intentional, maybe not be intentional. But can we please be normal about teenage girls discovering their sexuality? Can we please be normal about female sexuality? Can we please be normal about female sexual awakenings? For the love of all that is holy.
I mean, the answer is no, right?
I know, but can we please? As a society, can we work towards that? Being normal? Please?
I mean, I was saying this as I was rewatching it and everything. I am so Malin coded. I'm the girl who is writing fan fiction. I'm the straight A academic, all of it. But my mom never cared to know what I was writing. And even now, she also writes fan fiction. We talk about our plots, we talk about our characters, but my mom knows I write smutty things, and she does not want to know what I am writing.
I mean, good for her for having boundaries.
I very emphatically try to avoid bringing up anything to my parents about the fanfic that I write.
Yeah, my parents know I write fanfic. I don't think they care. They were more concerned about the fact that I started writing fanfic at the age of 12 or 13, and were mostly just like, can we make sure that you're existing on the internet properly as a 12 or 13-year-old? And I said, I know my rules. I'm fine.
Oh yeah, that ship sailed for me. I absolutely was writing lemons at age 13.
Yep.
As the asexual, I cannot write, or I can read smut, I can't write it.
Hey, I didn't say it was good.
But, like, even before I knew what the word asexual meant, I just had no desire to do so. Like, that's not part of my fan repertoire. Like, yeah, so basically, the joke about me is that I am several people onto this podcast as the creative experience, but I am also you, but I have functioning relationships with my parents, which makes this movie a bit of an odd watch, all things considered.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this moment to say, fucking shout out to Priya. Priya is the one who will absolutely grow up to reskin her fanfic into an actual successful franchise, and then, like, Nicholas Galitzini, or however the fuck you say his last name, will play the lead in it.
Priya, a bicon. Also, shout out to Miriam. Baby NB. I totally didn't wear that exact fit in 8th grade multiple times, and only because I never braided my hair, and I never had hair long enough to braid.
And Abby, basically baby Jason Mendoza.
Oh.
I fully believe that Abby would say that,
Molotov cocktails work. Anytime I had a problem and I threw a Molotov cocktail, boom, right away. I had a different problem.
She would absolutely be into Manny Jacinto.
1,000%.
Honestly, we're talking about Canadian teenagers in 2002. They're probably really excited to see Attack of the Clones and Hayden Christensen.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Sandra Oh lie deliveries that live in my brain rent-free, who do they think they are? Celine Dion?
The Canadian thing. Deeply Canadian. Like, I literally had to do a report on her for French class.
Deeply Canadian.
So I was able to tap 2 Torontonians for this. I wasn't able to tap anybody Chinese for this, unfortunately. So
Whoops.
I'm gonna...
Not unless you count my Cantonese in-laws.
Do they want to be on a podcast with a bunch of weirdos? But I'll take this moment to shout out Jian J. Zhao's video about turning red. They make some excellent points in it, and honestly, just, they are based, and I low-key think they might be, like, Priya kind of spiritually as well.
Yeah.
That tracks.
I buy it.
I could see Priya writing a Handmaid's Tale sci-fi dystopia about a famous Indian historical woman who... I'm sorry, I don't know a lot of famous historical women from India.
Jahanara. Or, like, Joda Akbar. But there's a lot. There's a lot. Like, Indian history is very long and very complicated, but I'm personally headcanon Priya as Sri Lankan Tamil, just like her voice actress, Maitreyi Ramakrishnan, because I so very rarely see Sri Lankans in media. It's always Indians with the occasional Pakistani person.
I love and support this. 12 out of 10.
I hope you do get the representation you really, really want, Shami. I want that for you.
Thanks.
I fucking love every Four Town song and how none of them make any fucking sense. As all good boy band songs should.
Yeah, do you know what Four Town reminded me of slightly? The Backdoor Lover song from Josie and the Pussycats. Another song that is the fucking stupidest thing, but also kind of slaps. I'm your backdoor lover, coming from behind with the lights down low. Backdoor lover.
Is that the Seth Green band in that movie?
Yeah, and then they die because their plane gets sabotaged and they won't do the, like mind control means. We're not here to talk about Josie and the Pussycat.
That's for another episode.
That's a degree 2, baby.
God, yeah. No, but like the other thing that like I think fascinating that was I was like thinking about as I was like thinking about what to come to this movie about other than the trauma that all TM is as someone who is again a recovering N-log, I never did the boy band thing, but man, imagine paying cash for concert tickets.
I was shocked that they were able to walk up on the night of the concert and buy the tickets.
Yeah,
because we're now living in the age of, oh, Ticketmaster drops the tickets 5 seconds ago. The scalpers have already bought all of them. Good fucking luck to ya.
Pre-sale means fucking nothing. Also, by the way, I did the math. Thank you, Bank of Canada inflation calculator. 200 Canadian dollars in 2002 is about $330 today. Yeah, it's not quite as bad as 90s money used to mean something, but it's pretty damn close.
Remind me, was it $200 a piece?
A piece,
or
yes.
total?
Yep, $800 total for the 4 of them to go.
But they're floor seats. They are standing room floor seats at the Sky Dome or Rogers Center, depending on what generation you're in. I did make the note that the reason they had to rename it to the Rogers Center instead of the Sky Dome is because of the destruction. But no, they're floor seats, which are like $1,000 a piece these days. Like, I went to, because My Chemical Romance is playing there in September, and I went to check seats for that, and to sit in like the 500s, because it's also the baseball stadium, sitting up in like the 500s is $200. Man, I miss when concerts were reasonably priced.
Could not be me. I live in the Broadway fandom.
Yeah. Well, I love the old school PowerPoint, though I am a little mad that we never get to see it. I want the bonus featurette of Malin's PowerPoint. My question is, one, where did they get the sparklers? Where did she get the sparklers?
Priya probably sourced them somewhere because she's the guy with all the stuff. She was always pulling out the pad. She was pulling out the antiperspirant. She's got connections.
Truly.
I don't know. I'd put it 50-50 to it being Priya or it being Abby. Abby feels like the kind of person who would have explosives.
She would!
My question is that, like, Toronto does not do the firework crates in July. You know, the classic train car crate in the parking lot.
My Baldur's Gate Act 3 weapon of choice.
So my question is, like, where did you buy the sparklers? My second question is, where the fuck did they get all those kittens? Did they just have a box of kittens lying around?
Yeah, emergency kitten box.
Where did they get an emergency kitten box?
I'm gonna guess from Mr. Gao.
Yes.
Mr. Gao absolutely seems like the kind of old man who has so many cats. Like, cats living in his house, but also, like, he feeds all the street cats.
Yeah, I mean, there are cats that live in the temple, and at least one of them has a kitten. So I'm guessing that some of them are that. But, like, man, how did you get them to sit in a box patiently?
I mean, some cats will just do that. When I was in college, we had an illegal dorm cat. And we did room check, and I was off of class, so I'm sitting there holding the cat in my lap under the blanket, but she laid there for like an hour before room check and then like another hour or two after room check just because she was content to be there. So
I'm thinking that Jin fed them gourmet cat food, like homemade gourmet cat food, because he is an amazing cook. Like that cooking sequence was truly a reminder. This is also the director who did Bao. Yes.
I loved Bao. And Bao, in retrospect, does kind of seem like a template for this.
It was sort of your warm-up, get in the door. God,
I remember watching Bao in the cinema and seeing the mom eat her little Bao baby, and I was like, what?! Hey, Disney Plus, fuck you on the whole speaking Korean, speaking Cantonese stuff.
Yeah.
Give me
again. What are they saying? Even May says when they're asks what they're saying, and she never really gets an answer.
God. Yeah.
I should not have to go to the IMDb trivia section to find out. I don't even know if I can go to the IMDb trivia section to find out.
Well, vamp, and I'll ask.
Oh, Grandma Wu. Like, the second, like, she appeared on screen, like, I immediately went, okay, this is a boss.
Yeah.
Especially with that, like, all prim, all with those fancy turtlenecks and all her hair swept back and that scar over her eyebrow.
On anybody else, you would see that scar and go, bisexual? But on her, it just means I've seen some shit.
And then the aunties!
Oh, those aunties.
They have the best entrances, I swear.
Honestly, I kind of want to watch an anime of the aunties.
Yeah. That whole family, like, just oozed different levels of coolness and awesomeness, and, like, they all deserve to be spotlighted.
How do we feel about, I thought it was really interesting with the aunties, like, noticing the dynamics. I kind of feel bad for Auntie Lily. She was the auntie who kept bringing stuff up and would be told, basically, shut up, Lily.
Yeah.
Was I the only one who noticed that?
Yeah. It happens a lot, like, sometimes, well, it's not just in maybe, I've seen this in Cantonese families. I also seen it with, well, my extended relatives as well. There's always that one person who will not stop talking, and everyone just tells them to shut up. I don't know if it's more of a, okay, we hear what you say, you've already said this before, or if it's just, they generally want to say something, but everyone just shuts them down. I'm not really sure how to read that.
The answer to the, can you find out what they're saying in the IMDb trivia? The answer is no. However, comma, I was right. Tyler's jersey is a Raptors reference.
Aha!
Only mildly unbelievable that nobody in this movie is a hockey fan, but, I guess we burned hockey on Inside Out, which was the smarter choice.
I think it might also be, Ming doesn't really seem like the kind of parent that would let Maylin do hockey.
Oh,
Definitely
no, of
not.
course not. But like, if any of the main three, or any of the main four are gonna be hockey fans, it's gonna be fucking, Miriam. She's already got a thing for sports boys.
I was gonna say Abby with the way that she is so intense.
Yes!
Abby loves it for the sport. Miriam is the bitch who's calling them boy aquariums and gets way too much of a kick out of Dylan Larkin's hockey butt pant ad.
What?
Okay.
We don't have to get into that.
Don't explain it.
So that is like my one like dig. No one complains about Toronto sports like Toronto people. Not even like an ADR line of somebody complaining about the Leafs.
It's always the Leafs.
Jin is right. Birthday cake flavored Timbits are the best flavor of Timbits.
Yeah, I was like, in that scene, I was like, let him have his sugar.
What are Timbits exactly?
Like donut holes.
They're proprietary named donut holes.
Oh, they're munchkins.
No, they're Timbits.
I will fight you.
I don't know if it's because I'm a Michigander, and so, like, I'm Canada's little cousin, but I do have Tim Hortons near me, and I do enjoy their Timbits and stuff.
Yeah. A box of Timbits is like $5, not even, for like a 10 count. It's incredible.
This episode is brought to you by Canada.
I do love
the
the
Robin Sparkles thing, because remember that they were doing the video where May was turning back from her panda form back into her human form, and they were all wearing sunglasses, and it's like, this is a Robin Sparkles thing.
Yeah, I also love when they were doing the Four Town concert introduction. You can see in the corner there's a knockoff Much Music logo.
Oh, yeah.
My question is how did CP24 cover the Pandapocalypse? CP24, the most overstimulating news channel.
No idea. You're going so incredibly niche right now.
The premier news channel, basically. It's like...
Yeah. But its layout for the television screen is like a tiny box where the news is actually happening.
And then tech captions and text everywhere, like headlines like flashing below it.
Yeah, the headlines flashing below it, the traffic cam up in the far right corner, the stock market below it. It is looking at it when you're walking by any television station or any television that happens to be playing the news is overstim hell.
I know we already said, like, it does have to take place in 2002 so that we don't have social media to account for, but also, like, the fact that the whole Lee family is not getting fully, like, mobbed by the government to be like, tell us more about the secrets of the panda. And instead it's just like, yeah, can you pay us back for the Sky Dome?
Yeah, that is the reason Rogers had to rename it. But not to be Marvel Corps on Main. Department H is knocking on their door and going, ayo, what the fuck? Maylin is now a new member of Alpha Flight. Because of course Canada has a specific superhero team.
Getting into more serious stuff, how do we feel about, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but like the friend breakup?
It was rough. Especially, like, I'm talking as, well, you all know my family situation, basically. Ming is a lot like my own mother. And... oh god, this is tough.
If you're not comfortable sharing it, you don't have to. We're a safe space.
It's more like I was seeing, like, it was really tough for me to make friends because my mother has a tendency to overreact and, like, lash out and blame everyone for everything. So seeing Ming calling everyone else, like, a terrible influence, it makes sense that May would, like, shrink back, because when you're in that situation, you're just like, okay, I really don't want her to turn this on me, so I have to go with it. I really don't want to, but I have to.
Yeah, I feel like it is a very explainable reaction. Like, it sucked, it hurt, and, like, you can't fault her friends for being upset and betrayed, but you also completely understand why Maylin doesn't say anything about it.
And I think the sign that, like, her friends, like, are still kind of, like, aware of this, because, like, again, the defining moment for them, for me, is that opening bit where, like, after Maylin gets on the streetcar, they all sort of look at her and go, she's brainwashed. And they're like, yeah, pretty much. Like, they understand, I think, on a level, like, the way that, again, because I come from the perspective of somebody who's, like, I am the closest to Miriam. If I had asked my parents at that age to go to a concert that was $200, they might say something similar of, like, yeah, you can go, you just raise the money yourself. Like, that sort of level, you sort of look at it and you go, I want it's that one meme where it's like in the headspace of, you know, I want good things for you, and I love you so much, and I want you to be in a situation where you are loved and understood, and all that comes out of the person's mouth is, I fucking hate your parents. And so, like, you know, I think that's why I sort of buy that, like, yes, Miriam is upset about it, but also she's been taking care of the Tamagotchi the whole time.
Aww.
I love that the Tamagotchi becomes Ming's panda at the end.
Yes! Yes!
She gets to interact with her panda. She doesn't have to be afraid of it anymore. She can interact with it in a safe way, and she can, like, eat it all it wants.
Although that begs the question, if you let the Tamagotchi die, what happens to the panda?
I think it's a magical Tamagotchi now, so you don't have to worry about that.
I would hope it's a magical Tamagotchi now.
If it does, what if the panda gets out again?
Never expected this coming-of-age film to end in a kaiju fight.
Like May going, you didn't tell me she was that big!
Not just ending in a kaiju fight, but a kaiju fight that includes twerking.
Yeah!
Honestly, so cathartic. Like, I grew up in a family that put a lot of emphasis on being ladylike. So there was a lot of, crossing my legs at the ankles and don't show this, that, or the other body part off. And so there was something very enjoyable about seeing Malin go, "You want crass? I'll give you crass."
Yeah, I think for me, the moment that, worked with me is, when Jin's telling the story about her mom's panda and how it came about because her grandmother didn't approve of Jin and mom flipped the fuck out on her. Again, not to put my own parents on blast, but that was the reverse situation where my dad's family didn't approve of my mom, and it got so bad that my dad has not spoken to them since I was in the 2nd grade. Anyway, so that was a very understandable emotion, and the fact that there was that sort of strain where Ming, Jin gets the phone call and she's like, "It's your mother," and she's like, "I'm not here." I love that there were those little glimpses of no, that's still a human person, and that is the daughter is just a daughter and what have you.
And with the scene when we get to that scene in the spirit realm where Teen Ming is crying and she goes, "I am so sick of being perfect," that just hit me to the core because it keeps coming up again like a refrain.
Yeah. Again, I have the note where it's I am also Maylin in that I was also a straight-A student, but I was not a straight-A student because I was pressured to be. I was a straight-A student because school was remarkably easy for me. It's almost like I had ADHD or something. But, the thing, again, that hit me about the spirit world scene from somebody who has a normalized relationship-ish with my parents, not normalized, but a normal-ish relationship with my parents is the scene at the end where Malin's "No, I'm staying here, I'm figuring myself out, but I don't want you to, I don't want it to take me away from you." There's a reason I relate way too fucking hard to You're Gonna Go Far by Noah Kahn, but moreover, Ming just sort of apologizing for you are so good at what you do, but you put so much pressure on yourself, and if I'm the reason for that, then I'm sorry. If anybody gets anything out of this movie, parents, apologize to your fucking kids more often. Everyone will be better for it.
Yeah, I think we can all co-sign that.
Yeah. I also love the way that, when they come to that understanding, I think that it's one of those moments where, so I just watched this movie for the first time for this podcast. I'd seen the first 20 minutes of it before yesterday. But so I'm 28 turning 29, and that apology scene and the ending and Maylin's wearing the green hair clip which is her mother's color, and it really just showed me how when you get older and you stop being the child, so to speak, it is really easy to become friends with your parents if you have that good normal relationship. And that's me and my mom. I mean, we're the same person. My mother had me right before her last year of college. She read little infant me Shakespeare aloud. I'm pursuing my master's of English literature, and my mom has her master's of English literature. Like I said, we write fanfic, we talk fandom. Neither of my parents are diagnosed with ADHD, but both of them, I'm just sitting there watching them sometimes, and I'm like, good God, I didn't have a chance.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm very much in a position where I am friends with my parents, and I loved getting that scene where, as an adult, you see how that happens.
Yeah. My dynamic with my parents is mostly, we are cool with one another, but our relations drastically improved when we were no longer living under the same roof. But moreover, my mom and I had this funny conversation. So the John Mulaney bit where it's your mom has friends and those friends have husbands? That is not quite my mom has more friends than my dad does. But my dad is sociable enough with all of them, and they've been over to our house multiple times. But one of the things that my mom was remarking upon was when I went to go see Deadpool and Wolverine for the second time in theaters, I went to go see it with a friend of the family, and it was just the two of us going alone. And she was like, how are you chill about this? Like, this was not something I would have done as a kid, but like you come about it so naturally. And I was like, well, they're your found family, Mom. Like, we don't have much in the way of extended family anymore. So, like, you've chosen to incorporate these people into your life. This is the equivalent of hanging out with, like, a different aunt, Like, that's family, Mom. You've just found a different definition of it. And so, like, that again is where I sit sort of on the outside of this, where it's like, I look at this movie and I'm like, yeah, I know relations like this. It's not my own family, but it is, like, people I know and whose families I go, I fucking hate your parents. A phone book doesn't leave bruises.
This is a very different experience from the last time a movie turned into an unprompted therapy session.
Nimona is much more a place of, like, not to out this pod's queer tendencies or anything, but that Nimona is more about gender fuckery and betrayal of friends, and that is something that is not easy to talk about, but it's a lot more open to talk about, and, the complications of the systems they're in and how systems brutalize people. This is so much more deeply personal. Like, there is no clean familial dynamic. There is no easy familial dynamic because there can't be, and every portrayal of it comes from such a deeply personal place that even if you do see shrieks of your own family in it, there is still going to be that little thing that's just a little bit off, where it's like, I see the version of somebody who watches this movie and looks at Ming and how she treats Mei, and even by the end, and still goes, cool motive, still murder, and finds Ming irredeemable. Because they have that dynamic with their mother, and their mother has never apologized, And
then there's also the perspective of white audiences seeing the sort of dynamic in an Asian family, and, like, the cultural differences and the sort of intricacies. They're hard for, like, people outside the culture to understand.
Yeah, and, like, this movie, Handshake Coco, Handshake Encanto, the experiences outside of the white hegemony and the complications of the familial dynamics.
One of the things that has been really interesting to me in seeing all those movies that came from the year and a half of generational trauma was how many times so much of it is just, like, getting the source of the trauma at some root to say, I'm sorry, and start actually putting in the effort to be better.
It's the scene at the end of any rom-com where you're like, do I buy these characters staying together after the end of the picture? Do I expect these people to heal at the end of the movie? Ming and Mei Lin? Yeah, maybe. I expect them to come around and find some sort of balance, and, Mei Lin is going to go to college, probably UFT, because UFT's math department. If she doesn't go to UFT, she probably goes out of province. But, like, she is going to find a better relationship with her mom when she's had some space. She's going to come back to her mom in her 20s, and her mom is going to be your best friend. I think that is the best ending this movie can ask for. Whereas other, generational trauma movies, going to the source of the trauma and saying sorry is a good step, but it is just a step, and healing is not linear.
I mean, Disney, we're still waiting on that Encanto sequel. Lin-Manuel Miranda needs his fucking Oscar.
Pasek and Paul stole his!
Billie Eilish also stole it, depending on your opinions about No Time to Die.
And No Time to Die is bad, but I'm willing to excuse her other Oscars, because again, her and Phineas are the reason Four Town sounds the way they do in this.
There was one problem that I did have, and it has to do with the anti-blackness. I'm sorry. Like, I know it's a prevalent thing even in East Asian culture, but, like...
Are we talking about, like, in relationship to Tyler?
Also with Miriam doing AAVE.
Okay.
I'm going to go 2000s flavor text.
Well, I mean, what I brought up, Tyler is...
Mixed.
He's Blasian.
Yeah.
His father, I think that's a Jamaican accent that he has, and
probably
he's listed in the credits as
Nguyen, yeah.
Yeah. Him being Jamaican would not surprise me.
Yeah, but when you have one of the major the only major black character be a bully for most of the film does not reflect well.
Tyler is a bully in the way that teenage boys specifically are bullies, where it's like they've got a lot of cultural hang-ups they're never going to work out properly without the right stimuli. And the fact that Tyler by the end of it gets sort of folded into this friend group means he might get that stimuli sorted out.
Honestly, it's interesting to think about the fact that, like, Tyler knew the whole panda thing was going down, and he never told.
Oh, I know what Tyler's thing is. Hey, Shammy.
Yeah?
Did you watch Degrassi?
Yes!
Tyler's just Drake again.
Oh,
He's
God!
What?
He's the son of a rich black man, because that house is big by Toronto standards. I think he lives in Etobicoke. Like, if you put a gun in my head.
I'm sorry. When you say Drake, I just need to clarify.
Not Drake, the literal man who sucks. I'm talking Drake's character, whose name is escaping me at the moment.
Jimmy!
In Degrassi. Jimmy, yes. He's got Jimmy's problem of he's been left alone. Like, that party and that house and the fact that he doesn't seem to have any, like, proper friends. He's the kid whose parents have overworked themselves at the expense of their child. So some of his bullying hangups are simply just like him trying to seek stimuli, and that's the only way he's found to get attention so far because he's 13.
Tyler also kind of reminds me of it's my turn to get deeply personal. When I was 12, my middle school did Into the Woods, and at the cast party, the guy who had been playing Rapunzel's prince decided that it would be fun to grind up against me. And make the entire cast party incredibly uncomfortable for me, to the point that I called my dad and asked him to take me home early. And then later, that guy was claiming to people that he had taken my virginity, and my period stopped a few days after that, and I panicked because I thought that periods were something that lasted for the rest of your life. Like, you would just constantly be bleeding until you made a baby.
The American sex ed system at work, people.
This is also just me not retaining information well, because I'd done Girl Scouts. I knew that periods were short for menstrual period. But anyway, I haven't gotten to the end of the story. The end of the story is, like, 2 years later, he came out as gay.
There is definitely an ending to this whole story where Tyler would not be the token gay, because Priya exists, but Tyler would sort of see that if this friend group becomes that queers sort of finding each other in middle school and latching on for dear life until they graduate, that would not surprise me either.
They will be the most obnoxious group of people at their high school. Exhibit A, I was part of one of the most obnoxious groups of people at my high school.
All in all, this movie is one that I'm glad I have rewatched, but also an incredibly Toronto core movie, and also I'm gonna have trouble getting Nobody Like You stuck out of my head. I'll just hum the X-Men '98 theme a couple of times.
There are so many things about this movie that, you know, I'm not Canadian, and I'm very, very white. So, while I very much relate to Maylin in particular, like, there's so much about this movie where I'm just like, oh, this is not mine.
Yeah, fair.
Again, shout out to the Sky Dome, shout out to the CN Tower. I do love all of the skyline shots in this movie, even if they don't geographically work. It's the correct choice. It's the same way that Forever Night has the skyline from the lake in its opening credits. There's another incredibly Canadian property.
This movie was kind of like a return to childhood for me, because growing up in the Aussies, like from back in middle school, like there would be trips to Kensington Market, going around the CN Tower, getting all of we would used to have a radio in class, and they were always playing like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and it kind of like brings me back to those days when I was at really awkward, trying to find herself in the world kind of little kid. And I wish I had this movie, like, when I was growing up. Like, seeing May come into her own. That would have been amazing to see.
I'm trying to think of other stuff that I can say that isn't...
Unload baggage upon your friends.
Jin! We haven't talked nearly enough about Jin. He is one of the MVPs.
Jin, our beloved!
Jin, we love you, but you had one job!
I did adore the scene when Jin found the camera and just like got to see his daughter exist, because he's a very soft-spoken person. Like, he doesn't like conflict and is just like, okay, like, you do your thing, you can be in charge, like, that's fine. And like, I don't think that he really cares that much, because like, he's not afraid to stand up for his own beliefs against Ming or anything. He just picks and chooses his battles. And he very much picked to choose Mei Lin. And I love and adore that so much, because he saw his daughter exist and went, you do you, girl. Like, be who you want to be, and don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Like, good job, Dad.
Congrats, Dad. You had one job.
It is a great beat when he's like, it's happened already, and it's just, oh, I said the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I appreciated that, and also the when Ming is like, did the red peony bloom, and he immediately is like, he was like going to help, and he's like starts backing away real slowly.
No, but speaking of the red peony, that dream sequence, pure nightmare fuel, and those flowers, those faces in the flowers, it kind of reminded me of the Audrey 2 flowers.
Honestly, like, I think this is the most proper nightmare fuel that I've seen in a kid's movie in a while.
Yeah.
And I do think that this is a kid's movie, whereas, like, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is an animated movie that everyone can enjoy. Animation is not just for children. And obviously, given the way 4 fucking adults are so deeply processing stuff about ourselves because of this movie, Turning Red is not just for kids, but it is a kid's story.
Again, it's part of Disney's Little Gen, where they basically handed it to a bunch of second-gen immigrants, and they all said, familial trauma!
Yes!
But also, this movie is very, very specific. This movie is weird girl, 13-year-old representation, and I would have killed for that.
Let girls be feral.
Yeah, I really, I was the weird girl. I grew up in a very weird community, in the sense that, I should have been the weird outcast girl, but everybody in my grade, we had extracurriculars that overlapped. We all were super smart. I graduated 17th in my class and still had above a 4.0 GPA. So, we were kind of ridiculous. But the jocks would finish their mile run in gym super early and then come run my last lap with me to encourage me to finish out.
Aww.
And, I could ask any boy to dance at the school dance and, not get worried about being rejected. We just vibed together, basically. And so, it was great weird girl representation, and also, I just loved that, the group didn't care that they were the weird girls either, and made it work for them.
It's rare to see this kind of unabashed confidence. May is very proud that she gets good grades. She's very proud that she plays the flute. And all these sort of what is sort of seen as stereotypical Asian nerdy interests, but she flaunts it.
Yeah, can't fucking relate on that factor, but because there was a nerd kid strata in my high school. There were the super ultra hyper nerds who were all real close and real fucking aggressive about their grades, and then there was a strata of us who were nerds and were good at school but also just didn't give a shit. And so, like, that inner ring was super close like that, but the outer ring sort of looked at the inner ring going, you're fucking insane. Slash, thought they were a little pretentious. And then there was, like, the rest of the student population, because, again, my graduating class was, like, 530 kids. There were simply too many of us.
Yeah, I don't know what that's like, because my graduating class was 172.
I don't think we've talked nearly enough about the anime influences.
The girl who leapt through time. That scene where May is, like, flying over and, like, she's completely backlit by the moon.
That one's pretty awesome.
The freeze frame when she punches her mom in the nose.
The poses that the aunties do as they're destroying their jewelry.
Yeah!
I cannot stress enough how much I want, like, a series about the aunties. I love all these characters, and I would have loved to have them get, like, a Disney Plus show that doesn't get turned into a movie. Moana 2. I'm just... You want to scream at Disney for all the shit they do. And then they are also, like, letting artists do stuff like this, and you're like, more! How do I make you give me more?
Yeah, man. To borrow Jazz's metaphor from the Snow White episode, it's very much like rooting for a sports team, and no one hates a sports team like the fans of said sports team. Doesn't matter if they're on a hot streak, doesn't matter if they're on a downslope. We're still gonna show up to every fucking game hoping that this is the one.
We keep hoping it happens, but man, are they embarrassing us.
As somebody who grew up with a Lions fan, I feel that.
Can't relate. I'm from Titletown.
Fuck the Bruins. To be a Toronto sports fan is to be a masochist. To be a Leafs fan currently is to be a fucking masochist.
Reel in the hockey.
I'm just gonna be over here basking in my Dropkick Murphys while I ask you guys a question that I'm pretty sure we already know the answer to. Is the Force with it?
Yes!
Absolutely.
The Force be with it.
'Cause we never met nobody like you.
Like
you. As friends and I've had buddies.
It's
true. Wait, somebody has to be beatboxing.
No one asked us.
God. Great movie. Keep at it, Domee Shi. I hope you're doing well. I haven't heard from you since this movie, which is honestly disappointing. Oh, she's directing Elio.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was happening.
Yeah, I forgot this was happening too. God.
I'm so excited for Elio.
Good luck to you, Domee Shi. I hope this goes well.
I need Elio to do well so that Pixar doesn't become a sequel factory. Go see Elio, this is a threat.
Alright. Who has pluggables?
I don't have a pluggable, but, like, y'all wish me luck as I spend the next year working on my thesis.
Good luck!
Good fucking luck. If you're not sick of hearing me, I am the host of The Straights Aren't Alright, the podcast where I gather a bunch of queers together, make them watch straight rom-coms, and try to answer the question, are the straights, like, okay? You can find us wherever pods are cast and on BlueSky at aren'talrightpodcom. You can follow me on BlueSky at DreamsRebel. You can find me as well on my own website, blog.filmlion.online, where I am trying to do the great MCU rewatch. But again, Thor stalled me out, so I'm hoping to get back to it. And I think those are all of my plugs. Yes.
So there's a YouTube video that goes further into, like, the anti-blackness of the film. It's called Turning Red's Black Bottom by Haryana Hook. So if you want to learn more about it in a way that's better explained than I do here, you can check it out. And you can find me on the online muse on Tumblr. I make the graphics for both this podcast and for our sibling podcast, In Each Retelling. If you like my work and want to commission me, come hit me up.
And in the spirit of Star Wars, to be there for the people who need us, this episode's mutual aid spotlight goes to the Hua Foundation, which works to strengthen capacity among Asian diasporic youth in solidarity with other communities to challenge, change, and create systems for a more equitable and just future. The link can be found in the description, as well as on my various socials at Demisem. Our theme music is provided by Refractory Period, the two girls, one beat synth pop sensation information. You can follow them on Instagram at refractory.the band. To further support this podcast, please subscribe to us on your platform of choice, leave reviews, and share with your friends to boost our visibility, and consider joining our Patreon.
River, you are the only Knight of the Order of 6 Degrees of Star Wars not to use your forced roll yet. Would you like to pick the degree of the next movie that we cover, or would you like to save it?
I'm on so many of these that I'm going to save it for the time being.
You're going to save it, so that means it is time to roll up our Pride Month episode.
Whoa.
Is that 6?
It is.
It is a 6, and that means that we are going to be doing the original French La Cage aux Folles.
Funky!
Bien sûr. We will see you all next time. Until then, stay safe, stay strong, stay beautiful, and may the Four Town
With you.
be with you.
Hey!